So, Fat Guy Flies RC here. We're going to do a post build of the e-flite Viper. Now, found out the hard way. I remember one thing I mentioned in the unboxing that I was going to attempt to see how this bird would do on a 4-cell. No, 4-cell will not work. I have a couple of 5,000 4S's that I've got for the C1500 and this and there, and because of the ampage draw of this EDF, put one in there that had about 50% charge on, or my storage rate. Well, it sucked it down to 14% really quick, really quick, just by taxing a little bit and trying it and seeing how, and it almost, putting it on its end like this and then giving it gas. A jet should want to fly out of your hand. It should have enough thrust to want to fly out of your hands. Now I've got a 6-cell in here now. Oh yeah, she wants to go. Not so with the 4S. With the 4S, it kept sinking. Okay, so 4S, no, not going to happen. With a big high wing plane, you might be able to get away with a smaller battery and come in and float in, but not with a jet. You got to maintain your speed. All right, the other thing I found is if you want to test your servos with a servo tester, do it before you put the wing on or you attach anything. You saw me put everything together and I said, then we're going to test everything. No, test it before. Hook them up. You remember I had the wires and everything back here in the tail and the wings. I could have tested all those things first before I attached them. I chose not to. I wish now I had. I mean, it's fine, but that's just the way you should. You should do that. You should test everything before you put it together. I didn't do it. Learn from my mistakes. But fortunately, this is quality, so everything's fine. I did find that you need to be very careful when you pull these wires up through here and you hook up your gear. You got 3 gears to hook up, and there's the nose and these 2 here, so you got 3 things of gear, but 2 connections, and one for these, one for both of these together, and then one for the nose, and it all hooks together. Okay, be careful. Some of them don't click in just right, and I didn't feel it click in, but I thought it was in. Light to light, dark to dark. Powered her up, and only this gear and this gear worked, but this gear wasn't. Well, it turns out I didn't have a good connection, so I had to go back through there, fish through all the rat's nest, and make sure all the connections clicked in good, nice and tight. Everything is clearly labeled, but because it's so tight and everything, there's so little room to work, and your extensions don't give you much room. You kind of have to find the right ones, hook them up, and then blindly make sure they're being put together, because you just don't have the room to see. Okay, so that's that. The other thing I have found that so make sure your connections are good and tight. Now everything, I'm bound up, I'm bound up and everything. Everything's in good shape. Everything worked perfectly the first time. Got my flaps all taken care of. One thing you want to do, and I didn't in the other video, you want to unhook these ball links to both your flaps to where they're not hooked up to the servos. Work the hinges real good, and then hook them back up just the way they got them. But everything is trimmed perfect right out of the box. Everything's nice and happy, and I'm good. These are set up by the book. I think it's 50% for down elevator, -50 for takeoff flaps, and then -100% for flaps up, and that is on a Spectrum DX9. So there's a nice setup in the manual that shows you how to do it. That's on a DX9. DX6s and them may have a little bit different of a setup. The setup for the radio is for the wing type one aileron, one flap. Okay, and then set to D, and I got a 2-second deployment. It did not call out for an elevator to flat mix, so we're going to run with that whenever we do the maiden. Now, the issue of the battery. I have China Hobby 55C 4000 brick 6S. It's slightly larger than the thicker than a smart battery 6S 4000. Okay? Here's the deal. A battery like that is $100. I can get 3 of these for $150. Okay? I take very good care of my lipos. Yes, a smart lipo would be a good investment. Okay? But I take very good care of my lipos now. I'm very care about discharging them, treating them right, and everything. So I can get a good use out of this China Hobby. Yes, I will end up buying me a 4000 smart battery in the 6S. But for now, we'll use these. Now, having said that, a 4000, the brick, your canopy, and I've got this pushed back as far as I can get it. That canopy does fit, but it's tight. Okay, it's not going to come off. And there's just a slight bit of gap. What I did to take care of some of that gap is I took my good old sandpaper, and right here where the pilot is, see? Right there, that framework, that's where that battery hits. Just took the sandpaper, sanded that down. Didn't cut, just took the sandpaper. And that negated a lot of that gap. So that took care of a lot of that. So I don't have the air going up there. Nice ventilation on the canopy, and there's ventilation there. So that's nice. So now the canopy fits in there a whole lot better. And so that's that. The other thing is the CG, according to the manual, is basically where you see your latch there, straight out. So right through here, right about where, right there, straight across, about a finger length in from the leading edge. So see your latch, go straight out, it's right about there. Now that's for the manual. I don't know the millimeters, I don't remember what it said. But I've got a 4000, and on a low wing, you always want to do it, you know, with a bottom up, wings down. And so I've seen my little latch, put my fingers, and the CG just about perfect there. Okay, just about perfect. That's just about lines up with that latch peg. Okay, still slightly nose heavy, which is good. But I want y'all to consider something about a 4000. You think, well, I get a 4000, I get more flight time. Yes, you do. However, heavier battery. Okay, heavier battery. A heavier battery in a plane that needs to land with some speed to it is very prone to bounce. Okay, so you're not going to high alpha this in. Okay, you're basically want to bring this sucker in and where the mains just a half a second touch before the nose. You want to kind of land where like you're landing like this and just nose down. Because and the heavier the battery, the more that pounce could be. So we're going to do a lot of practicing using that battery when I do a maiden. But I know that this is not going to be a high alpha type landing plane. Okay, and I've seen a lot of videos of it, and when people use the heavier, bigger batteries, they seem to have more problems with bounce. I will tell you this, a little secret, something that I've done, that I've ordered, is, I want to say it's just plain crazy video he did, where he did a mod, where you've got some articulated oleo landing gear. I'm doing that too. RC Marshall did the same thing. He used some FMS ones. I'm going to go the easy route, where I'm just going to cut part of that off, slide that on there, anchor it down with the 2 or 3 grub screws, and I don't have to do anything else. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play with it first with the stock, everything first. But something else that when you fly this plane, we have found out through the videos, if you keep landing hard, these is nice reinforcements there for your landing gear. However, the foam is thin, so you may get a separation or a crack may start to develop back here in the corner where the flap and the foam is. So it's fairly thin there. Just be aware of that. You know, be careful with your landings. Okay, I'll go with anything. Yeah, no, I'm going to let it plop down. This is not for a beginner. Okay, this is not the Habu. This is not the Habu. This is not a beginner jet. Intermediate, maybe I think more advanced, but flying great. I mean, shoot, you take her up and fly her and have a great time with her. But as far as landing, be careful. Okay, and I'm not trying to put you off of this plane. Verizon, please don't say, oh, you're trying to get people not to buy our planes. No, they got good quality. They got phenomenal customer service. You know, you can't beat them. All right. Yes, you're going to pay more for the planes, but you're going to get that made up in customer service, ease of returns. There's so many other things that you get that money back, so to speak, in a way. But we'll get a maiden done. I can't think of anything else that really stood out. Just be careful when you put your connections, bringing your wings through. Be careful with the connections. You don't have a lot of room to move, to maneuver in there, so you kind of have to make sure you got the right things lined up, light to light, dark to dark, and then you kind of have to blindly put them together, make sure they're good connected, you know. So, and do your connections, or check your connections with a servo tester before you put the control surfaces on. I wish I'd done that, but it worked out great. So, but there you go. She bound up, no problem. I put safe select is on my H. You can see it working there on over here on the H. Now that's turned off. Now it's just A3X only, which is how I'll fly it. And so there you go, folks. That is the post-build wrap-up. I can't think of anything else that stands out. I took her outside and taxied her around. Don't have a lot of maneuverability with the nose, so I might be able to go in there and work on that with the expo and throws. The manual says 100% throws, 30% expo for high rates, 70% low rates with 30% expo. But honestly, I'm going to dial that down and make the throws not quite as severe, and probably do like a high rate, mid rate, low rate. But that's after I fly it and see how it is, and then I'll put that in the maiden video. So thank you so much for watching. This is Fat Guy Flies RC. This is a beautiful model. I cannot wait to get it to the field. I'm going to tell you, I went ahead and ordered me a couple of lighter batteries, some HRB 3300s that are smaller than this battery, lighter, and but I'm still going to, I can still use these for other big planes. But I think I'll be more suited for this. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you.